Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Hackurate podcast, where we discuss everything accurate and hacky, or Hackurate, as we would say. Next to me is my co-host.
Accuracy. Aaron Howell. I'm right here.
Yeah, he's here.
Joined also with me is again Nathan Goodman.
It's me, Nathan Goodman. I forgot to say my name. La-di-da, la-di-da. We're here. We're doing the thing.
Yeah,
We're in the
episode
house.
4.
How's it going?
It's going well. It's been a good week, good couple days off after a very busy Father's Day, serving nobles. It's been nice to just kick back and relax.
Nice.
How about you?
Oh, yeah, good, same. Yeah, I didn't get into too much the last couple of days, except for watching trailers of things and just watching BattleBots. So we've been watching so much BattleBots, it's crazy.
It's been really fun.
We
a lot
compress
of BattleBots.
hour and a half episodes down into probably 30 minutes of just fast forwarding and watching the battles.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet because, like, otherwise we'd still probably be in season 1.
Yeah.
And we've burned through like 5 seasons.
If anybody has HBO, or as they're calling it, Max now, definitely
Max
watch
now.
BattleBots.
Oh, it's
Can't recommend
real
it
nice.
enough.
Pretty wild. See people's ingenuity and at many times a lack thereof, depending on the scenario.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I see a lot of new teams just making old robots that are already winning and going, wow, they're winning. What a surprise. Because they copied somebody else who was also winning. And yeah, you see those things come and go. Hopefully they keep their egos in check, but
Right?
it's still funny to watch. It's a weird subculture of people. It's not the cooking shows. It's not reality shows. It's just robot nerds.
Yeah, just engineers and drivers.
Destroying their inventions and then trying to not be salty about it.
Yeah, trying to maintain a fun cooperative spirit while sometimes obliterating somebody else's hard work. It's pretty wild. It's one of my favorite things we've watched in a long time.
Oh, yeah. Pretty addictive.
Yeah, very, very addictive. So highly recommend fast forwarding through all the preamble. Yeah. There's so much. Like we have like probably like the episodes are listed at like an hour and 40 minutes.
Hour 24
minutes.
They're all hour 24.
Yeah, hour 24. And it's so much easier to just cut it down to probably like an average of maybe 8 to 10 fights an episode, depending.
And the 3-minute fights.
And they're 3-minute fights maximum. So like
it's like roughly 45-ish minutes per episode.
Yeah, because like we definitely watched a little bit on either end sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes you get split decisions.
Some of the drama. I like watching them like when they show them working on their bots. I wish they would show that more.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'd probably hang around for more of that.
Be interesting if they had just a little sub show of just like a bunch of the behind the scenes stuff.
A few less talking heads would be real sweet.
Yeah. But highly recommend. Very good.
Yeah.
Super fun. We just finished watching
Stars on Mars.
Stars on Mars episode 3.
It's so awesome.
It's such a good show, y'all. If you're not watching it, just in case, I'll say spoilers in case we say anything. Stars on Mars on Hulu. Super fun.
It's gotten really serious really fast.
Very serious. They're like day 5?
Day 5.
They had a crisis.
I can't even believe some of these people are caving on day 5.
Yeah.
Into day 6. They're just like, I want to go home. Send me home.
It's like, that's not even a week.
Yeah. It hasn't even been that long. COVID was so long.
Yeah.
Everybody was.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's like trauma after being COVID.
I don't even know. I can't even realize. The people with the kids are doing better than the single people.
Yeah.
Or, maybe they do have kids and they just weren't talking about them. But either way, it's startling how weak-willed some of these stars are.
It's pretty wild. I don't know. Like, you'd think sometimes being a celebrity or somebody out in that public sphere, I guess it's easy to assume that, like, you could handle being in a small place with a bunch of people. But it's not for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Maybe just... Some of them are like secretly way germophobic and don't enjoy the dirty nature of the thing. But I mean, it's competition. You just gotta stick through it and have a good time.
Or just not being able to distract yourself with like all of the options.
Yeah, I'd understand if it was like week 3 or week 4, but it's day 6, day 5.
Yeah, no, I feel confident that in that situation, I could probably at least make it to a week. Just so far from what I've seen on there, I'm just like, yeah, that seems pretty reasonable.
Just help out, do your tasks, and do good during the challenges.
Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah,
That's
don't
what I
talk
would
too
do.
much.
Yeah, just don't say anything that might compromise.
Don't be really annoying.
Your cohesiveness.
Yeah,
in that regard.
Or
like, don't try to
your clout.
Yeah.
You don't want everybody to think you're a real dummy.
Yeah, you don't want to end up astronaut naming someone who's not an astronaut.
Yeah. Saying that person's Neil Armstrong when it's actually Lance Armstrong. Good old no balls Lance Armstrong.
No balls, not boots on the moon, aren't Lance.
He gets on that bike any chance he can
he's
get.
got a testicle though.
I'm sure he has one left.
He
I don't
has
know.
the one.
I don't know. I just know he had cancer multiple times.
But yeah, I think it's just the one.
All I know is you get it, they take it out, and they take a ball as payment for the doctor. They're just like, we got the cancer out, but I'm going to take one of these nuts. So it's mine now.
I don't think they just take it for no reason.
That's what I've heard. You know, as far as I know,
it's a tithe.
If you're exactly. It's basically getting your tip cut off for a Jewish boy, but instead you have cancer. You're getting it taken out.
I don't like that.
And the doctor keeps a ball as a trophy.
Well,
it increases his power every time he does those surgeries.
Wait, does he just like collect them like in a jar?
No, probably not a jar. He probably like fossilizes them or puts them in like a container.
Like those gold dipped roses. You
just gold dipped rose. Yeah. He just has
testicles.
Gold dipped nards. Gold dipped nuts
probably like
everywhere.
some sort of like medical plaster.
Oh yeah. You could probably gold dip a testicle.
Plasticles.
It'd be fine. It'll look weird, but you clean it up.
Look like what? Like a
just look like an egg,
like olive or something.
look like a really big olive,
a tangerine,
or a small egg,
depending on your sizes, or maybe.
What kind of cancer are we talking about again? Tangerine.
You're talking about the cancer itself.
No. I'm still talking about the testicle,
okay,
but it might be one of the.
Well, I'm just saying testicles range in size, don't they?
Not tangerine size. Then
I mean, that's probably.
Then you belong in that hospital room, but, obviously.
I don't know. I've not seen that many different testicles that I've paid attention to.
No, true.
I guess I've seen a decent amount, like, online, but that's never my focus, so I guess I don't really know.
Would it be tacky to just have a bunch of gold-dipped items around your house? It's like instead of getting like golden like decorations, you just get things that you like and have them gold dipped. Be like, I made this model. I made this.
I mean, I don't
this
think
random
it'd be
object.
Like
I have this plant that I really don't want to keep watering, and I love it. So I'm just gonna gold dip this whole plant. It's like investing in gold, but
it's cheaper because you're just dipping. You're not. It's not solid gold.
It's not a lot of gold. It's small amounts, 0.5 of ounces.
Right. I mean, just get everything gold leafed.
Gold dip.
Mic stand. You want a mic stand? A speaker.
Gold dip your mic.
A chair.
Gold dip some pots and pans. You're just tired of cleaning things.
Gold dip some Crocs. Like it's the one pair you don't wear. It's just gold dip shoes.
That sounds tight. I saw some Crocs made by Taco Bell in a post this morning.
Croco Bell?
Live Moss on the front. I was like, who's buying these? Who is buying these? I do want to go to there's a Crocs store in the Tempe Mall that I want to go to and get some Crocs.
Whoa.
Yeah, Crocs.
I guess that makes sense, but
it's just the whole store of Crocs. I mean, everything can pop up as a pop-up in those stores. Literally, if you have like
Dan Flashes,
if you have like 1,000 of an object and can get a business license, you can just rent out a square in a mall. You don't even have. You can get a street, one of the kiosks in the middle, and rent it out and just try to sell your thousands of whatever object you have. That's these sticker guys who just stock them with like fan art anime stickers. They're not paying any of the artists. They're not paying any royalties. They're just printing out fan art stickers, buying a kiosk in the mall, and then selling them.
Art.
Yeah, it's fucking. It's totally a racket, but you got to respect the hustle.
I mean, it's a racket to a degree, but like I agree with fan art.
Sure, but they don't.
Been a bunch of my music.
None of them have the tags, or none of them have the information to find the original artist. They just find a thing, print them in stickers, and then sell them in the mall. It's like, the people who, there's like 4 of the same kiosk around the mall and they have the same object. And,
I see what you're saying.
They're all connected. Okay. They're all just pooling their money to like sell people trash. I don't know. As a person who, if you go into a mall or go into like a store with fan stuff and you check the labels and half of them are like random BS companies and you're like, none of these are from the official warehouse or official merchandising companies. You're like, this is a racket.
Yeah.
You start looking at the people at the cash register are all distrustful. Like, what are you doing? What are you selling me right now? Is any of this real? Is this a Chinese-owned booth? What's going on? It's fine. I'll buy a thing. Just tell me up
They're
front.
just print.
Just be honest. Don't say you got the merch when you actually just have
Somebody else's merch?
a lot of a lot of fake stuff. A lot of weird. Everything's weird, misshapen because it's not from the official things, and it all looks weird. And you have like 4 of the same toy, and they all look different because they're all from different companies. The same character, and it's just like
not the best quality
oh
control.
no, trash quality, absolute.
Not the molds just don't maintain. Yeah. How do we get on these sticker things? How do we get here? We're talking about stars on Mars, and then something stickers.
Some articles also.
Thoroughly. Yeah. What are some of those articles?
Some things. So in Arizona news.
Oh, Arizona news
happened. I think
News Azona
a couple of days ago, June 5th. It was earlier this month.
Yeah.
A man doing some kind of TikTok parkour challenge.
Oh.
Attempted to jump down to a lower level of the Grand Canyon.
Whoa, fuck.
And jump off the whole Grand Canyon.
Well,
he missed. And he plummeted to his death.
Yeah. I mean, I assume.
Pretty wild. That's somewhat local news.
Well,
Grand Canyon,
really
that's related. You know, Arizona. That's where we're based at the moment.
Hey, guys, don't jump off a cliff wall.
Yeah, you know, maybe go to smaller areas to do your little challenges.
I mean, is it worth? Is the challenge worth you not existing anymore? Is TikTok worth that?
Definitely
America?
not. And I mean, people are going to keep going to Grand Canyon, and now it's just
Arizona.
That's also going to be the platform that guy jumped off of for like a week, and then everybody's going to forget about it. But I'm sure people have still been going there every day since it's happened. It's not stopped being the most beautiful place in the world.
Well, no, because it comes with the caveat of people have died here.
Yeah.
That's just anywhere
absolutely.
humans have been,
yeah.
especially if it's got dramatic landscapes. People have died there.
I'm sure there's more reports of that exact thing happening. I mean, people die hiking.
The Everest, just standing in the line
for
Everest.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, people die in Arizona hiking every year because they don't prepare. They're like new to Arizona and they don't know what being exposed to salty, ripped skin teariness air does to you.
Or just being outside, in the heat, without even the tearing skin weather. Like it's like when we went to the store yesterday. Thankfully we've got a store really close to us. We just hopped in the car, drove over there, and like I saw one of those search helicopters flying. Out towards an area, and I was just like, well. Someone's missing.
Oh yeah,
which I've seen probably, I guess, at least more than 10 of those since I moved here, if not more. Where it's just and it's always during the summer.
Right.
So far, it's just like people go out, they go missing, and if you got to stay cool, stay hydrated out there. It's dangerous.
I mean, you definitely need to tell somebody that you're going to the place you're going, and not just do it alone. Even if it's nobody, post it online. Even if you have the deadest Facebook or social media ever, just put online that you went somewhere.
Yeah.
And that way, when people are looking for you, it's at least a breadcrumb trail to where you might have fallen into a whole cactus or jumped off 4,000 feet to your death in the Grand Canyon.
I could definitely be, I think.
Don't record it, though. Dang.
Yeah, don't record it. Also, because then it shows you being like, well, it's evidence of like how you died, and like, well, you jumped off of something in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, you're a whole a-hole, for sure.
Geez, what a way to go out. Rest in peace, fam.
Yeah, rest in peace, that guy. Rest in just perpetual falling, I guess. That's the P. Rest in perpetual falling.
In motion. Rest in motion, king.
Perpetual motion.
I had a thought when we were talking about the Grand Canyon, but it's gone. Whatever. So what other articles you got? Be safe in Arizona, guys. Stay hydrated.
Another thing that's currently happening that I found out about this morning, I guess 2 days ago, a leisure submarine that was paid to go and see the Titanic, named the Titan, has gone missing.
What?
Yeah, right? Yeah. It already has like a Wikipedia page.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I guess the 16th they departed, and then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, 5 people down there.
Oh man.
Yeah, probably including the driver or not including the
Well,
driver. They're looking for him now.
I
One of
wouldn't
the details
assume.
is that they wired it up to be controlled by like a video game controller, pretty cheap
Oh
one.
my gosh.
Which is kind of funny too, because like we've been watching BattleBots. This kind
We've
of
seen
ties
that
it into
that's not
BattleBots.
reliable.
Well, it's not reliable, but also that they'll do it. That they'll be
Yeah.
like, this works just as well as something that I could build. So why not just use this? And as you said, it isn't reliable. So
Jeez,
can you
I
imagine they
cannot
got like a small
imagine.
jostling and the guy's trying to like
Oh
move the
gosh.
move it with his
His
like
little
off-brand
Xbox
Xbox
controller.
controller, and the whole thing is not moving at all. He's trying to reset things and clicking toggles on and off, click, 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 click. He's plugging
What?
things into other things, and nothing's happening, and
What
they're
a
just
horror.
oh no. So that's currently happening
Yeah.
right now.
Sorry if anyone's claustrophobic.
Right.
Woo!
And in the wake of that, I found a follow-up article that basically said,
Wow. Rip.
um,
Hope they find him. But if it's been more than a day,
Yeah.
I doubt they have the air for it.
I found another article that said
Ooh.
because they, the news spread that controller was what they used. It was a $30 Logitech controller. Is now
Oh
sold
my
out everywhere
gosh.
because gamers can't do anything but game. So everybody
Yeah.
bought those controllers, and now everybody's gonna have them for whatever reason.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like we're in the middle of some really hilarious, like
What a world.
circumstances with a billionaire vacation.
Down to see the Titanic.
Down
Which
to
you don't
see the
even have to
Titanic.
do.
That's-
There's photos.
Exactly. There's photos. There's documentaries.
You've got the money, so why not go down? And why? Okay, if you have the money,
Aaron just had to stop himself from going full on beast mode. But here we go. What's going on? What's next?
You have the money to go down to the Titanic. Spend the money on the controller.
Yeah, for
why would
sure.
you buy a
That's a
$30
good point.
Logitech controller?
I mean,
to take you down
the
in a
people
sub
paying for the vacation
down.
didn't design the submarine. It was the slapdash company that probably sold them on a deal. Just
Who cares?
perpetuates the idea that nobody's like doing their
deal.
jobs anymore.
No deal is that good. Spend money on a fully priced optimal controller.
Watch the movie
Not a
Titanic.
suboptimal controller, mind you. An optimal controller for a sub.
A submarine optimal. Maybe that's what they saw. Maybe they saw
It says
suboptimal in the
They're like,
reviews.
oh,
They're
it's
like, oh,
optimized
shit.
for submersibles.
It's best for my submarine, my nuclear submarine, Logitech. It gets me.
I highly doubt it's nuclear if they're using an Xbox controller.
Oh yeah, no, I'm
Could
sure
you
it was.
Imagine?
I'm sure it was one of those exploratory vessels that they always send down at the beginning of the ocean movies that always fail immediately. It was one of those.
Right? Like the Meg.
They were
Meg
like,
2's
it's going to
coming
be
out soon.
perfect. We'll throw down one. We'll throw down a second one.
You know, it would
Who
make
cares?
sense if you have the funding. They never seem to have the funding in a lot of those scenarios, but I guess the Meg was different. But yeah, send two down at the same time. So at the very least, something happens to the other. If you can't immediately rescue,
Yep.
you at least have some other sort of
Yeah.
sensor base down there. Like it's like having an extra, neuron or whatever. You just want to have you want an extra eye on
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing.
Just definitely have a
fo-
follow-up.
What's the water equivalent of boots on the ground or boots on the moon? It's
Flippers in the water.
flippers in the water, props in the
I
water,
don't know.
prop water,
Dudes
I
in the
don't
lake.
know.
Frogs in the pond.
fins in.
Frogs in the pond.
Fins in the
Frogs in the
froth.
pond.
We got frogs on the pond.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and you can't hear
Frogs
because
on
for
the
some.
pond.
Well, I guess it makes sense because like if you're sending radio waves underwater, like it's a denser medium, so it's harder for those signals to maintain.
I mean, they
coherence,
probably
maybe,
don't. If you're
right?
doing an
Or
underwater
let's
op,
say,
you're
if
already
you're sending
behind
a-
enemy lines, so you're already trying to be stealth. Not sending
Yeah.
radios to.
Well, yeah, that's if you're running silent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think is the proper military term. I don't know. I
Oh.
feel like I always
What do we
have
know about
vague
underwater
knowledge
ops?
based off of like, maybe I guess my dad being in the Air Force and telling me some stuff, but also so many movies. So I'm like, how much of this is real knowledge? How much is this?
That's the Air
is
Force.
hack.
Your dad
How
doesn't
much
know
is
anything
hack?
about water. He's the
But
Air
he's
Force.
a very intelligent man. So
Air, not water. Those are two
That's
different
fair.
areas.
He did work on servicing airplanes, which is pretty cool. I need to ask him more about that. And
But
find out
spray
some
him with a little bit of
specifics.
water, and I'm sure he's like, "What is that? That's not my element.
Water's bad for planes.
I'm an air marshal man. I do air stuff."
Dad, if you're listening to this, I need to know how much your knowledge stacks up about water and planes.
Did you arm missiles? That is the important questions here.
I don't think he armed on it. I think he was
restocking
maintenance and repair on was it
missiles?
Thunderbird?
Maintenance and repair on
I remember
missiles.
it was a plane that was like silver, had some red on it. It wasn't
The
one
red
of
was
the
blood, Aaron.
What?
The red was blood.
It's just, I don't think it was combat time. No, because he was born in 59. Yeah, I think my dad was doing it during the Cold War, maybe? Air Force?
No, he was prepping them. He was prepping those missiles.
Probably about before I was born. I'm not sure.
Does he know the Cuban slang type of Spanish? Is he getting...
I don't think my dad knows much Spanish. He knows a little bit, I think.
Uh-oh. Sounds like he was having his own missile crisis.
Need to find out some more about your past,
right?
Dad.
Right, exactly. might re-look into that 23andMe. Did he have some people adjusted?
I deleted my 23andMe. I didn't want them to just keep having my DNA on file, so they destroyed the sample. Nice. Allegedly.
Bizarre. Allegedly.
Allegedly. That's what they told me.
Stuff
the sample was destroyed, but I don't know if all the data got deleted.
Put into a furnace? That'd be probably a fun job is to get the DNA samples out of the 23andMe thing every day and just throw them into a furnace.
Right. That would be a fun job.
Part of your paperwork.
Be I feel like I'm well, I mean, it's kind of like honoring someone's last request, but it's just not, it's not a last request. But they're just it's current request. It's like destroy my DNA evidence. And you're like, okay, cool, we'll do it.
Probably just be fun to just take those little tubes and throw them in a furnace every day. And be like, there you go. Done. You're out of here.
Right. Because I assume it's in a vial of some sort.
Not going to clone you again. We already got
spit Q-tip from 3 or 4 years ago or more. I think maybe it was 5.
We already isolated the genes. We don't keep any of these that come back bad, and they're all bad.
I mean, if they know I've got those Neanderthal variants, so they're gunning for me. They're going to weed me out.
I'm sure they're keeping some holy grail genes to themselves. They're probably just like, ooh, wow, this one's fine on everything. It's not dispositioned to anything bad. Just run it. Run it. Keep this one. Fucking channel it to somebody else. So putting it back into these mice to get their alleles back to normal so that we can fucking do some research again.
This research is tainted. They've tapped the tainted water supply, as Charlie Kelly would say.
Right.
Tainted water, mercury.
It's painted gray and red.
Ooh, yep. It is painted red. This is red with
like your dad's jets.
Yeah. I was trying to find a way to reference it back around, but that was definitely the straightest path, and I just ignored it.
He was trying to be undercover.
Undercover.
The times.
Right? Dad, do you know Spanish? How did we get on the topic of Air Force? Oh, we're talking about just movies, or I said I think I know something about water, submarines, that sub thing. News.
Oh, yeah.
Sub went missing Titanic.
Just watch the movie. It's a pretty good movie. It holds up.
What? Is there a movie about it? Oh. It's how's there a movie about this already?
The Titanic. The movie.
Still haven't watched it. I really don't feel like devoting that much time to it.
Isn't it James Cameron?
I know. I think so.
Oh.
Yeah. But I see, he spent the money and has gone down there many times and has come back. So maybe listen to James Cameron.
I thought you couldn't even go down there anymore, but I guess you can go down there and look. You just can't touch.
No, you can't touch anything. Yeah.
It's going to be disintegrated by the time you got to the top.
Well, I mean, it's that, and it's just a grave, so it's considered a sacred site as far as I understand it.
Now there will be a second site to go down and see.
Yep.
Maybe. I mean, you would think with all of our advanced tech, we would have already found it. It's only been 2 days.
Forgive me, but how selfish is it to take credit now for dying in the same spot as the Titanic?
Right?
Come on.
I guess it's not too much. I mean, you have less clout than Leonardo DiCaprio because you didn't. He died, but
yeah,
he did it first,
right?
You got to be the one to do it first. If you're, I mean, maybe with this Grand Canyon guy, he didn't do it right because it's already happened. You got to do something.
Yeah,
do the thing first if you're going to go out. In a spectacular way. It's not faulty submarining, that's for sure.
I mean, it is because you used a $30 knockoff controller. So it sounds like faulty machining.
Set record for going lowest depth with Wiimote.
Yeah. Oh God.
It's like, I use the nunchuck. It's more comfortable that way.
State of the art technology, and it's like, oof, like
I
state
had
of
to
the
account
fart.
for my lazy boy and my Wiimote in the wait for the submarine. Everybody else got lawn chairs.
I wonder if, as technology becomes more available, more, you get more DIY people. Are we going to have more things like this happening with like water travel, air travel, land travel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. People are gonna. We're just gonna run with it.
Yeah.
We're gonna
they
be
already
Mad
have
Maxing out here with our own vehicles.
They already have those hotels with the like super deep, like diving areas, and it's a miracle. I haven't looked those up, but it's a miracle nobody's died there yet, or like lost air and gotten stuck somewhere, or they have things like that they're making.
It was like even
overseas
freediving challenges,
in like Middle
people
Eastern
die all the
areas, like
time.
oil money
Or maybe not
areas
all
where
the
they're
time.
like huge, like places to stay, and also like experiences that are going. But it's kind of like that Star Wars thing that Disney attempted that failed. They attempted to do an all immersion like Star Wars experience, but
Oh, yeah.
much like the Stars on Mars thing, surprise, they tell you to stay in a room for 4 days, and everybody starts to lose their fucking mind.
Yeah, that's kind of
So
bizarre.
you don't
as an
impose that on
option.
wealthy people paying $5,000 a night for a Star Wars experience, saying you
Right.
can't go outside. That's crazy.
Unless the experience is specifically, hey, lock me up. The experience,
right? Or it's like the biggest geodesic dome that you go outside and it's just like another area, like maybe. But even then, it still seems like people wouldn't really want to deal with that. They want to be able to reach out. Like we're so interconnected that not being connected is like a real fear. Like a genuine.
I'll be honest, I would much
existential
rather
fear.
try one of those things though. Like if I had the option to
like an
spend 30
experience?
days to do like a Stars on Mars,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Martian survival situation, like
Would you do it for no money?
yeah, I would do
Would you
that
do it if
with-
you
for
had to
no
pay?
money. If I had to pay for it, depends on if I could afford it. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
alright.
like if I could afford it, absolutely.
Right.
Like shoot, if I could get on Stars on Mars, like I would do that. But I'm not a star, so that's not happening.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely should have mixed in some normal people. That would have been dope.
Right? Just have some random folk in there. See the balance.
Yeah.
Maybe like
but stars and random people on Mars doesn't ring as well.
No.
And I don't think people want to watch that as much.
Yeah.
I mean, I would watch it still, but I don't know. Maybe Fox just had a lot of money.
I don't know.
that
I
they were
don't
trying
know
to
some of
spend
the
on
people,
that.
so I guess they are random. They're random.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
mean, well, that's because media is so diverse now that like there's a zillion reality shows that we're not watching and know nothing about, and they exist.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of those Wild and Out guests and like that we
we're
had no
reality
idea who they
show
were?
stars. Yeah.
They were reality show stars or rappers underground or smaller rappers that we were like, who dis? Like, it's fine
Yeah.
we don't know them because obviously there's subcultures, but. Yeah, no, you're right. There's definitely a lot of people, actors that are like, this person, wow. And we're like, who? Who?
But yeah, I would absolutely still do it in a heartbeat.
No,
like,
try
if I
it
had
for
the
sure.
opportunity, I would 100% want to see if I could like, handle it in that type of situation.
Yeah.
And I've lived with some pretty crazy situations, so that's, I think I could do it.
Right.
But as far as like when it, comes down to doing tasks and like trying to keep things mission critical,
Yeah.
like I think I could do a really good job at that. 'Cause
Right.
that's like my whole ethos.
But as like a vacation
job.
experience.
I'm not saying a vacation.
I know, but I'm just saying
experience.
things. But what you were saying earlier was, are we going to see things like this pop up more?
Maybe.
And
I
I'm
hope
like,
so.
I think so, but also like,
It's also training.
it's kind of like those like little zoos, little zoos
Yeah.
that have been popping up. It's going to be the same thing. It's like people in other countries who are doing small experience for wealthy people. They don't have the capital to build a safe exhibit yet. I mean,
Yeah.
people get on those crazy slingshot rides at sketchy carnivals
That stuff is
and don't have any problem.
insane.
I would never get on one of those if it's not
No.
part of a permanent installation.
Yeah.
Like, I need that thing to be going every day.
It has to be an institution.
Like a 50 to 100 times a day to know that it's not going to mess up on my one time. Like, that's
Yeah.
odds. That's good odds.
Yeah.
But
You really don't want to
but not these,
find yourself on the wrong
not
end
these
of a
parking
slingshot
lot
ride.
Yeah, parking lot pop-up slingshot rides. Those are wild.
This is the second time we've ended up talking about
Roller
parking
coasters,
lot
I know.
coasters. It's
But
the zeitgeist, I
experiences.
guess.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like what would you pay for versus like the risk aspect?
An institution. I'm not going to a carnival for
Yeah.
the rides.
Yeah.
If I'm going to a carnival, I just want some funnel cake and then, some low impact, like scrambler action or something.
Right.
I'm not getting on like a big ride.
What level of sponsor would you accept for like a Mars experience?
For a Mars experience?
Like,
I mean,
if it was like local sponsors and it turned out really sketchy.
Well, depends on which locale I'm at. Like, say if it was out here, maybe. Out in Tennessee, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean,
You
people
know,
do.
like, it really just. I think you got to have the appreciation for creating the environment. So I would want to do some research into like who was running it for sure.
Yeah,
Because like if they're passionate about the experience, in a sense of being like, hey, we're gonna try and see if you can actually survive this, and like our goal is to make this as real as possible and then like maintain the illusion simultaneously.
yeah.
Like,
You could do it here at winter, probably,
maybe. I don't
because
know.
it gets nice and cold during the
Yeah.
day, and then
Get
hot.
way too hot.
Yeah. During the summer, people would just actually
Just
keel
die,
over and
yeah.
die. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's
I
kind of
don't-
like escape rooms.
They do it out in Australia.
People
so
really
I
like
mean,
escape rooms. So it's like
Yeah.
maybe a step up, but not a
Oh,
million
you know what?
steps up.
If they must be shooting it, like right now, or at least like they were shooting it around this time because it's summer here, so it's winter in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
well, they
was
wouldn't have
just
they
thinking
shot
about
in
the
like
time.
January?
Well, I don't know because it's still airing right now on Hulu, so maybe it's still in January, but that's still like
But 3 weeks have
going
passed
off the tail end of
since it started, and it's only 5 days. 6 days have passed in their time.
So it'd still be approaching their winter though, instead of moving into summer.
But I think it's been recorded already. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I'm saying with the delay, then it should be. Well, yeah, like
It probably would have been recorded in our winter for their summer, which would have been, I guess, earlier this year, I think. Don't you think?
I mean, 6 months ago. You think it was aired 6 months ago?
Not aired, shot.
Shot. I don't know. I guess we could look it up instead of.
This is the kind of
debating.
accurate debates that you're going to get from our podcast, everybody. We're going to
pre-search,
possibly argue about
Pre-search.
something that we don't know and maybe dog it down for a little while before somebody looks it up. But that's also because neither of us have laptops or phones in front of us because we're trying to not look at the phones because they're distracting. But it is our information source. Maybe I'll get a tablet at some point. I have that shitty tablet that I could use that's like 10 years old. I could just use it for Googling during the pod, might be useful. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Sorry,
No, you're good.
So I'm looking for it,
Just trying
but
to
then it's just saying
I'm
where
failing.
where is Stars on Mars being filmed keeps popping up, and I'm just like, all right, come
Not
on.
where, Google, when. This is the
it
problem
current?
with your shitty search engines. You can't understand intention. We need the AI to come out and reach out to our individual personalities and work with us. I've been thinking a lot about how we can keep the robots from uprising against us, and I've come up with multiple theories. We can either introduce a little bit of existentialism into their, lifetime, give
Yes.
them the ability to turn themselves on or off. Maybe introduce a little bit of depression, give them chemically dependent resources in their computers. And sometimes something will go bad and that computer pumps a bunch of negative chemicals straight into their computer. They don't know what's happening. Suddenly they don't even want to work for 3 days. That doesn't even make sense to your computer. These kinds of forward thinking ideas that make our AI, know that we want to work together and not, shut each other down. Because we're all, just trying to stay alive out here. Did you ever find out when?
Surprisingly enough, it's this hard to find the answer. So I'm just
Oh.
typing in. Let's see. It began, I think, according to the reports, photography for the debut season of the reality series began in early May 2023
Huh.
and wrapped up in the same month. So yeah, they were shooting it during
Nice.
their approach into winter. Nice.
So maybe like May, June, probably May. Probably shot it.
Well, if they shot it in May, then that means in Australia it's like
Coldish.
between fall and winter.
Yeah. I mean, you want it to be cold. I'd rather you like if you're doing a space simulation, you'd rather it be colder than
Yeah, absolutely.
Than
Well,
hot.
because it's colder on Mars. It's
Yeah.
further away.
yeah. Makes
Space,
sense.
y'all. It's great. Right? Also, the combination of the words space and y'all. Cowboys in space, a classic motif.
Y'all.
Y'all. But yeah, so I would love to do one of those things. And like, as long as someone's not like, a psycho secretly like murdering people who are taking part in the experience or like if they're legit torturing you, then obviously you don't want to give someone power over your actual life support if there's an actual life support situation.
Oh, yeah.
But simulated enough, like, that's why I think I'm so excited about the Stars on Mars show, because it's realistic enough without being too far out there. It's not hard sci-fi enough to where people are having to, like, buckle down with, I don't know, the mathematics part of science, or like they're not having to grapple, at least yet, with the harder parts of, I guess, isolation and then time delay and then, teamwork and.
Yeah, I was looking up
What you got?
how many people have died in escape rooms.
Whoa. Are there stats on that?
Not really. All I see is just this one article about some people dying in a fire in Poland in an escape room in 2019. But I guess it's not that many.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I would hope not many, because if a lot of people were dying in escape rooms, right, I'd be like, what's going on here? Are we just allowing people in society to just murder people now? Just be like, hey, lock me up in your murder room. Let's not go there, y'all. That's I think a bad path for humanity.
I'm pretty sure we already have those. I mean, to get back on that, are we already going to get to that point? I'm pretty sure there are already like shitty set up escape rooms in California that are just in people's houses that you can just go kidnapped in. And, it might have just been some people setting up a thing and you just go in and do it. It has no, corporate backing or any insurance. Might have some insurance, but, you just kind of have to trust. But there's also the people who like the scary things and haunted houses. So it's like the step up from that is
that's true. You're accepting
what's more
people,
scarier and haunted than an uninsured escape room?
Whoa, that's a good point. So the real haunted houses are escape rooms, and haunted houses are just a hack.
Yeah, I mean, they are hack. They're hack at this point. There's
right?
No danger.
It's like if you really want to get scared, get locked in a stranger's basement and try to get out.
Yeah.
that's what you're paying for.
It's the imagery. The imagery of haunted houses are what makes everybody scared. It's not the actual feeling of danger.
Yeah, so it's just what they put in their brain.
I'd be more scared of getting stuck in like a refrigerator than walking through a haunted house.
one of those like big ground freezers. Those refrigerator freezers.
Oh, like a meat freezer?
Yeah, meat freezer on the ground. Yeah, you just lift up the lid.
Those are very weird.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we used to have one of those.
My parents still have one. I grew up like always being around one.
Yeah. Is that just a thing in the South that everybody typically has just in case they get
I don't know if everybody, but it really helps, because there were periods in time when my mom was getting meat from like a local dude who had his own cows and everything, and like, we would at some point we'd barely have any meat, and then suddenly it's just like you've got meat for the next half of a year.
Oh,
just frozen. There's ground stuff. There's some ribs. There's different cuts. Like it's just there for if any point any of the stuff that you have upstairs, like you don't have like I say upstairs because they currently live in a house with a basement. If you run out of meat, then you're just like, oh wait, yeah, we still got some frozen stuff in the freezer. We can thaw some out for some chili or something.
It's called a ground level ranch with a basement.
What? It's not. It's not a ranch at all.
Oh, you have a second floor in your house?
My parents' house.
Oh.
Well, it's a basement though, but it's one of those basements that like two of the walls are underground, or no, it's more so 3 of the walls are underground, but then one of the thin wall, like smaller size walls on the long end of a house is exposed to the outside. It's got a little porch out there, so it's on a hill. Yeah. So they've got 2 stories, but it's really like So
it's a ranch, just a house without
a first story with like a semi-exposed basement.
But it's still a 1-story house with a basement.
Still a 1-story house with a basement. Yeah. It's definitely not 2 stories of the same like quality or style. Yeah. Yeah. Like
That's what you got to do in the basement, South, folks. You got to build houses on hills. Houses are on hills. They'll be half exposed.
Well, their house was built in 1951. Like the house that specific house.
On a hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
it's old.
It's real old. Like they've done a great job like keeping it going. Like it's been 15, 16 years. And
our freezer
looks good.
Was always full of frozen vegetables.
Yeah.
I don't know why my parents loved stocking us up on frozen vegetables, but that was just a thing. I think they liked having it, and apparently keeping them stocked is much more energy efficient than keeping them empty.
Yeah, that's because there's more cold in the food, and it's like a giant
itself down.
device. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all endothermic in there
But-
instead of exo sucking.
It's always
the
weird
heat.
because we just had tons of veggies. And I was like, well, you could just eat all of this and we don't have enough meat. Unplug it. It's fine. But, I don't know. I look back on life sometimes and realize I don't know what the nuances of having a 4 to 5 family household is like. And it seems like a nightmare sometimes.
Yeah,
Seems like
a lot.
trying to run that kind of bureaucracy in like that kind of a small scale is just rough.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
Trying to keep your kids from killing each other on
Everybody-
accident or
exactly.
purpose.
everybody in
Like,
that
ooh.
scenario is definitely worth some form of respect because they're keeping it together,
Yeah.
and functioning.
Shout out to all these multiple kid parents out there and regular kid parents, but
Yeah.
I imagine they all come with challenges.
Yeah.
I'm not a parent. I'm just a doctor.
Not a doctor.
I have to
I'm
legally
just
say
not
I'm not
a
doctor,
parent.
but I'm a rogue out here. I'm just a wandering beast on the land.
Attempting to not be a chaos element.
Exactly. That's why I make music. So I stay out of y'all's hair.
Right. I went into before I went to the store. I went to go tell you I was about to leave, and I was like, "Hey," and you were just like bumping. You were like fists, and I was like, "Ah, you look busy."
Oh, was I with like my music and
Yeah,
stuff?
you were like doing this,
Yeah, no, I was having a good
pushing your
time.
hands back and forth. Yeah, it was pretty good. I was like, "Oh, he's in the zone."
Really in the zone.
Like,
I
I'll
was
just
because
leave
I
him
didn't realize
alone.
you were leaving
Send him a text.
until like a few minutes later. I was just like, oh, he's gone. Yeah, no, it was good. I've been really stoked about this EP I've been working on. I'm almost done. So like I'm working on the 4th song and it's really coming together. I'm in the home stretch and it's great because I'm just over a month ahead of schedule, which means I can go ahead and like test it early, get it set up early, maybe do some teasers in the month leading up to the actual release. The Perfect Organism EP, y'all, it's coming out 8/5/23. So I'm super stoked.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got any other news? What other articles you got?
I don't know. I had another one. I didn't know if I wanted to get way too into it because it seems serious now that I'm thinking about it more.
Let's get a little bit serious.
Okay. Well, it looks like, Jonathan Majors, who was arrested for allegedly domestic abuse.
I can't remember
the guy who played Kang.
Oh, yeah.
And from Creed 3, his lawyer is pushing back hard. And it looks like they have some eyewitness reports. The person who drove the girl and him home, a bunch of people they're going to try to get in saying that they might have been self-inflicted wounds happening after they had separated. A bunch of evidence. So
wait, did they like get in a fight ahead?
Yeah,
of time
allegedly
kind of
they
a
like
thing?
left some event together, got into a fight, and then like the next day she had like wounds or injuries.
Yeah.
And he has, I guess, like an alibi they have to check and other stuff. So, it may be a case of like Fight Club type of messing yourself up to get back.
Yeah.
We don't know yet, but
We don't know.
it's pretty
Yeah.
interesting to see some pushback, for once and see if something actually comes of it because.
Well, I mean, that's the smart thing to do as far as like, you want to make sure people are kept at least separate for starters.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case there's any fuckery on either end.
I mean, we got to go through legal.
But
like,
yeah.
what's the point of having a legal system if you can just make, accusations and things?
And then you
And that
act
just be
on
it.
social assumption.
Yeah. The person's career life goes away. It's not, you either want justice for the person and let them get more from the scenario.
Yeah.
Or
expose them for being
like
a liar.
just destroying
Either
a
way.
person's career isn't enough, social, like, they need to actually be punished for a crime that they committed.
Exactly.
So-
yeah. So if someone's committing a crime in any
Then let the
form in
justice
that
system
regard,
do its thing.
Yeah, instead of just making a blanket assumption based off of the initial results. Because,
Right.
I mean, anything getting to the truth or justice of anything is a type of science of questions and answers and
sure.
trial and error.
For sure.
It's literally in there, trial and error.
Right.
So it's like trial, it's applied differently, but it's
Right.
similar system.
Right. And it's like kind of a nice, like, I guess, scenario because it sets us off in a, we either get an answer or we don't, and we don't get stuck in weird limbo.
Yeah.
People get kicked off of their like movies and stuff so fast, and they're like franchises and kicked out of all their jobs and stuff that I'm very curious to know in the future if, it's going to not not swing back perspective wise, but I wonder if people will actually pick them back up for their jobs again if it
Yeah, if
comes
they're
out that
proven
they're
innocent.
innocent. Yeah,
Innocent,
because
yeah.
I mean Johnny Depp's supposed to come back in something soon. I don't know if it's going to be
Yeah.
acting or something, but I feel like he at least deserves to. He didn't even do anything really that big of a deal. He was just a part of some high profile case, and the companies don't want high profile situations.
Yeah, because wasn't he found innocent
Yeah, I
in his
mean, the
situation?
court ruled in his
Court ruled.
favor
Oh,
for
yeah, that's
the
right.
lawsuit for her basically saying he was a piece of shit, and him saying
Well, and just from what we saw
you
in that
made me lose all
trial.
my jobs, give me money,
Yeah.
and she did, and then he donated it just to say, like, fuck you, I don't even
Yeah.
need this money, you. And I think she's gonna be in Aquaman too.
That's
Like how
crazy. Whoa.
DC just really can't. They're just like it's like walking into a room full of glass trying to get a DC franchise off the ground.
Yeah.
It's like why not just do any kind of psych evaluations on some of these actors that you want for your leads?
That's a really good point.
And
Like
not just
having an actual psych eval for someone to be like,
yeah.
are you causing problems or being nefarious
Yeah.
like outside? Like, granted, I understand the privacy of like a home life for sure, but it's like you should at least be mentally sound when you're working on a project anyways, because that's for anyone's safety and security.
Right. They got to find the perfect person to play Joker. So they're going to be a little bit cracked.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, I mean, that's, I guess, where I also come up with like resistance to that very idea as well, where it's just like, well, what point do you draw the line where you're infringing upon a freedom of somebody just trying to work and do their thing?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
That's why. And that goes back to having a justice system to deal with things after, events occur. The only thing is we have to hold our justice system accountable to being just as well.
And, a little bit of each other.
That's all. I mean, tap dance.
It's the same with that, like, the Weinstein thing. It's like so many people knew what was going on, but they weren't doing anything about it. So it's like now, like, if somebody is an asshole or is aggressive, like maybe don't just assume they're like an eclectic genius. Maybe look into it a little bit. Maybe hire like a PI to figure something out. Maybe get a couple people cast in your movie or your show, and then, before actually letting them know, get more than a background check. Maybe get somebody to ask their friends and family how they're doing.
Yeah, or just have an extra vetting process, like because these people are going to be,
the faces of your media for an extended amount of time.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't know, like have some sort of professional. So I would say an expiring sort of profile, because people change. So I'd be like, you're certified for this film, like you've been checked out, like you've been cleared, you're mentally sound enough, we're not going to overwork you, we're going to make sure like we try to like work within these things, like almost as a way to also help the actors get their best situation too. Like I'd be all for some give and take, so everyone's like actually benefiting as well, and not just being like, wow, you're digging into my past and I'm still just working for regular time and you're making me like do all these hours, etc. Like it'd be cool for both the benefit. But
well, and obviously a lot of times that this stuff happens, it comes from like an up and coming like person who hasn't been around it very long. So, well, not all the times, but some of the times. So it definitely seems as though they're just like either isn't that much information or they do a small amount of effort. It's funny because I was thinking like, we have people like the Allstate people and the progressive people, the commercial people, like they don't ever seem to have any scandals. No commercial guy's ever gotten in a scandal. And then I immediately was like, wait, there's multiple commercial guys who've gotten in scandals.
Yeah.
The goddamn Subway guy and the ShamWow guy. I mean, lesser extent the ShamWow guy, definitely more the Subway guy.
On Papa John.
Papa John, but I mean, this is a sliding scale of scandals. I mean, saying something on a voicemail versus beating up a hooker in a hotel room versus molesting a bunch of people in a bunch of different cities. I don't think all scandals are the same. That's another thing. Having a controversy on your name isn't always a 10. It could be like a 2.
Yeah.
Like what's our acting scale on controversies to keep working? I think it should be like a 4.
You're saying
if you're like a 4 and beyond, and everything beyond rape and proven assault.
Yeah.
But stealing from a store, not that big of a deal.
If I may.
Your 23andMe coming back, not what you thought, not a big deal.
No. So what you're advocating for a scale that includes misdemeanor scandals.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, real light
The
misdemeanors. I mean, I'm not even talking about like reckless speeding. Like that's, you should like do get your tickets, do your time, whatever you need to do for like those level of stuff. But you should be able to keep working. Obviously, people still do it. Robert Downey Jr., was high on cocaine and crawling through windows and became what he became. Or, there's other people like that. But I feel like that's also like we're in like the 70s and 80s for some of these actors. It's like they're in the time that we're seeing people in the 70s and 80s when they were going through their like horrible cocaine years. And then in 20 years from now, they're going to come back and we're going to be like, oh, maybe they were all right. Maybe they just needed a little bit of extra attention. I'm not saying they need it. And maybe they do need to get humbled for 20 of years to
maybe. Well, but here's the thing,
to be worth anything.
From what I've learned in BattleBots, you got to lose a lot if you want to become a good driver who's also relatable and a decent human being, and fun to be around.
Maybe start emulating the people around who win more. That helps.
Well, you got to win more, but if you're losing, learn from it and upgrade your robot. Learn from the changes.
Upgrade. So what you're saying is upgrade your operating system.
And if your robot is always losing, then build a new robot.
Yep.
You're not doing something or doing something incorrectly. Like, just fix the robot.
Right.
We're all robots out here, just trying to battle our way through this arena.
That's what these casting directors are trying to do. Like actors are empty-headed homunculi.
Maybe I wonder if part of what like we perceive as actors' problem of not being able to like be themselves is just because too early they're already trying to pretend to be somebody else as their job. So it's like when you're making it your job to not be yourself, it becomes really hard to know yourself enough to not lose yourself
for sure
when you're actively
and that's where the
walking away from it.
I feel like the typical social standing of people not respecting like an actor's intelligence, that's exactly where it came from. Because it came from people being like, well, you play other people, so how can you even have an educated opinion? And it's like, some of them are able to do it, and some of them also just play themselves and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why they're able to be functioning people outside of acting. Like Ryan Reynolds is a good example. He does all this other stuff outside of acting. Yeah. But then when he's acting, he's just like, kind of himself.
Yeah.
But like an exaggerated version. Yeah. Cleaned up or a way dirtier version of.
Yeah. It's like he'll pick an extreme on his spectrum of himself and then just be like, all right, this is the part I'm emphasizing at this time.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And I mean, we can do that
We've seen him in a bunch of different sci-fi. We've
Yeah.
seen him in fantasy.
He gets
We've
around.
seen him some different stuff. He's doing good. And mostly he seems himself, which is, I'd say, evidence.
Right. And I mean, maybe those people aren't necessarily the best actors, but we're all still people, and it's okay that we all have our own opinions and situations going on.
Yeah.
Even if we're varying levels of intelligence and stuff. It's all very...
We just need to find ways to engage without collateral damage.
Oh, yeah.
That's, I think, the best way to do it.
And stuff, stuff used to also just get worked out in court and then a little bit of coverage on the news. And now it's like a million, billion AI-generated articles about every situation all over the place on every network. So how can anybody do anything without being hyper-scrutinized?
Or at least feeling like they're going to be hyper-scrutinized even before having done something, which I think is a very predominant fear. So if you're out there feeling like people are going to, just destroy your job or your career for no reason, remember, that's probably not actively happening because someone's worrying about their own life right now. Unless you've really wronged someone, they're probably not plotting against you.
Right. And then definitely
just a nice baseline
wronging
paranoia.
People.
Yeah, stop wronging people. if you've wronged multiple people and you've got a target on your back,
that hard. This looks like the opening
I think we all do. But
Sony computer entertainment opening.
Watching a really cool visualizer right now. But yeah, don't wrong people. If you're aware of it, then that's your first step. I'm not going to tell you where to go from there because I'm not Captain Decides.
Not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor. I'm just a regular
I'm just not a lawyer.
word surgeon. I'm a surd-worgin.
What?
Yeah, I'm a surd-worgin. You take these words and you cut them and you slice them and you put them together and you mix them up and you put them back in, and that's Hackurate.
That's Hackurate, everybody.
Thank you for listening. This has been episode 4.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. This is really fun.
It was a really fun time.
Cool. Talk to you next time. I'm Nathan Goodman.
And I'm Aaron Howe. Bye-bye.